and gentlemen, welcome back. Ralf's Automotive. 2004 Toyota Sienna. I wasn't going to show make the video, show this, but I actually changed my mind. I think this is a rather common problem on these things. I'm going to go ahead and show it. This one here, done them before. What we're doing here is the lower control arms, and what it amounts to is the bushings on these things. Sorry, guys, I'm putting gloves on. The bushings on these things tend to go bad, and the whole unit starts flopping around. This is the culprit here. These bushings, as far as I know, they cannot be gotten. You know, you can't get replacement. You replace the whole A-arm. These things here, I've got them, not a sponsor by any means whatsoever. Had to get them at the local O'Reilly. These are their usual brand, import direct or whatever, and they're about $160, I think, a piece. The thing about these cars here is, and that's sort of kind of why I decided to go ahead and make the video. I figure if I start by introduction, I'm going to go ahead and finish the video out. So the reason for it is actually that when you look at the service information, if you have never done these here, the book literally calls for 15 hours to do that job. So if you're going out there, you're going to get a quote to have them lower control arms replaced, you're looking at a hefty bill. So I hope that I'm going to show you, like I've done in the past, show you that we can get these control arms done actually much faster, save the customer a lot of money compared to, well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This one here, new customer, they didn't like the quote they got at another place, so they came over here, want me to look at it, and I looked at it, and I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, man, I've done these before, but we're just going to go through here. Go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, they've had some bad luck with the tire as well. Let me see what I can do here. I want to get my 2 friggin' weights on this wheel, which is a no-go on not the 2 weights part. They got them staggered here and here. That means it's not hasn't been balanced right. But anyway, that's not what I was fixing to say. Unfortunately, the customer is also out of luck over here. I hope the camera, I'm on my phone. Actually broke my first camcorder, so I'm on the phone. But anyway, hopefully you guys can see that. That's almost completely through. Unfortunately, I had to give her bad news on that one. So we are going to replace this tire. Man, that just went completely berserk right there. That rolled all the way back there. But anyway, so starting out, of course, we got the vehicle up in the air. There's some bolts that we're going to take out. And there is a motor mount here. We're going to take it out of the way. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of explaining. Of course, it's A-arm, it's complete A-arm. It's got the whole assembly. There is multiple ways we can go about it. Keep it simple. I'm going to try to keep it really simple. I'll start by removing this bolt right here. I'm not going to go ahead and go underneath right now and show you the damage. Videos are getting too long. I'm going to go ahead and get some tools out, get set up, pause the video up, and I'm going to show you the damage after we remove the part. That is going to make the video shorter, and like I said, there's not much here to tell, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to add something in there. Some people might be taking that the wrong way, and might end up getting some flaming on that one, but anyway, we'll get over it. I get asked, or I've been told previously, and I think I had mentioned that in a video, as you guys know, my channel, it says Automotive Diagnostics, and a particular person made a comment one time, well, you don't do no diagnostics on your videos. In the shop, very little, no doubt, but you can't make what's not there, okay? We'll get them every now and then. I do it portable. I'm not going to drag a camera portable. Preference. No excuse for it. Anyway, it's just preference. If I'm going to do a video, I'm going to do it here in the shop. I don't get them a whole lot. I'll try. Sometimes I get too busy. I don't. Sometimes I gotta sit there and I gotta get stuff done. But this is neither here nor there. That's not the point why I start the camera back up. The problem in this area, or a lot of the problem in this area, is there's also no inspections here. And this is where the flaming part comes in. A lot of people are going to disagree with me now, and they say, well, that costs money. I understand that. But this stuff here would clearly never happen. And I'm going to bring you closer. I got to be careful over here. As a matter of fact, here just any minute now, I'm fixing to drop that tire out of there. And of course, we got the friggin' mud on it. You can't see a darn thing. Right there, that tire is separating. It's on both sides. The steel belt coming out. It's already separating. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Now, we are actually putting a couple of tires on here, so we put the better ones in the back, the new ones that's going in the front. Soon as I'm done, of course, as always, do a suspension work like that, we're going to recommend an alignment and get her all fixed up. So I'm actually on the same vehicle here, well, I guess that goes without saying. Over here, I wanted to show you this. It's fairly heavy up here on our brake shoes. Is fairly heavy here. And then in the middle, we're getting thin. I don't know how good the camera will pick that up, but I figured I'd throw that in there as well. I'm supposed to check the brakes on these things. And the problem with it is, I'm not going to stand here holding it, and I don't know how good the camera will pick it up. This brake drum has been cut way down in it. So, a lot of that has to do with the diameter. When you run these out of their maximum diameter, which these here are beyond their maximum diameter, I had recommended to the customer, and I know there's a lot of, before I continue the sentence, I know there's a lot of controversy on that. There's a lot of people out there, a whole lot of people out there, that slap a set of brake shoes on and not worried about turning a rotor, turning a drum, replacing the rotor. I know that. Same here. You know, the rotor here is gone. It's too far down. Brake pads are nearly gone on it. So I throw that all in a price together. And I'm not going to film that part of it. I just figured I'd throw that in there with it, because that is something that we are going to do. More try to get this vehicle here actually back in real good condition underneath. You know, there may be some odd and end things we're going to do. Not going to quote it out. Well, if I see something else that needs to be tightened up, or you know, any little bitty thing here and there, I'm gonna go ahead and check everything, and we'll just go ahead and do it. Not even worry about even writing it up or even telling her about it. But we're just gonna go ahead and do all that and get this thing here back in a good condition, and we'll go from there. You know, of course, we have to later on, we have to test drive it, make sure the brakes are right, you know, and all that good stuff. Make sure the ride is going to be good. You know, it's a fairly straight body and all that good stuff. So it'd be a shame to not have it right when we get done. So back on the van. So down here in the frame, or I'm going to let you see the motor mount right there. There's 1, 2, 1 in the back is 3. What it looks like from underneath. You take a nut out of this hole, 1 out of this hole, and then 1 from right there. So there's 3 nuts. There's 17 mil. These are shouldered. Okay. That's all I did, is took all them out on both sides. Hadn't taken the front side here apart yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, without taking the top of the motor mount, we may have to, and we still can, but I'm going to try to not have to take the motor mount out. We should be able to get it free. If we get it spinning free, we should be able to get it out of there without too big of a hassle. That's what we're going to go for anyway. So need to kind of get you guys out of the way a little bit, because I generally don't do this, but I'm going to put the gloves on this one. I don't want to get banged up, and I don't like the hands cut in. We'll have to have a Wheaties here. And as you can see, I did go ahead and soak that. Hopefully it'll come loose. I've had it soaking for a little while. And like I said, if it becomes a problem, we can always I don't know that I got a nut spinning on there. Put your body into it. That's a long wrench here that I got in my hand, in case you wonder. Now that I got it good and broken loose, we might be able to do something with a ratcheting wrench. I got a jack underneath it. Careful, don't get carried away on the jack. I'm actually under the oil pan, transmission oil pan. We don't lose our spot, so there is the bolt. Certainly does have thread locker on it. And I was telling you about the damage. Let me put this down. All this crap in my hand now. Telling you about that damage. Let me make sure that we can see this. Okay, so here is the damage on this one. Okay, you can see that. Now, of course, we've still got the bottom end in it with a ball joint that is certainly destroyed as well. Get you, hopefully you can see that as well. Get that light down here. Help her out a little bit. You see how that boot's just blowed up. The nut, I hadn't been able to move it just yet. Have to make a better effort here in just a second. Of course, the new one is all one assembly, so still got to do brakes on here as well, so hope that we get this nicely in the shot there. Cotter key, I kind of sort of smoked that thing, so you know, for a while now, I've been using the Harbor Freight wrenches. Now, I'm going to tell you, being truthful about this side here on this wrench, the open end part, forget it, junk. On these long wrenches, these wrenches just don't hold up like a snap-on or something else. You know, a lot of wrenches we can use on that, but the Harbor Freight just isn't going to do it. At least not the open end. You know, the closed end's fine, and if the bolts are not super tight, that's fine. But anything in between, it just isn't going to do it. This here is a little bit rounded off already. In case anybody wondering what I got here, these are called Nipex, and these are awesome pliers. They'll bite. They'll do something. Not a sponsor, of course. I don't get sponsored with anything. Never have, never will. That way I don't have to lie about it. In case you're wondering why I don't go ahead and cut the other side, I try to cut as little as possible on the floor here, because I got a painted floor and I don't want to burn it all up. That's the reason why. Ooh, thought I had it off. Maybe I should have turned it just a hair more. Well, that's probably not going to work. Oh, heck, she's spinning. What's wrong with you? I'm not going to film this process of putting it back on. Just reverse what you just did. You know, remember, one side at a time. That way you get confused. You can always look on the other side, so stay tuned. I'm going to dress them bolts up, get them wire wheeled a little bit, put some thread locker on it, and head back together with it. I have a suggestion for you. If you ever want that job done and you decide, well, you're going to have somebody else do it, and they tell you it's going to be 15, 16 hours to do that job, do yourself a favor. Don't go steaming in there and telling them, by God, I know a man that can do it in less. I wouldn't do that, you know. I kindly explained to them, hey, I've seen somebody on YouTube that actually does it without removing the engine cradle, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do it without removing the engine cradle. I'm just saying. I meant that as a, just in case the people you're trying to get it to do don't know that. You know, service writer, they're going to quote, a lot of times they're going to quote stuff out of the book, so no surprise if you get a big quote. That's what happened here. Would nearly assume that maybe they didn't even ask the service writer for their opinion. I mean, the technician for their opinion. They probably just took it up on themselves to price it out like that, and of course it would have made the technician happy if he could have figured out to do it like this. I will say this, if you want to spend a few minutes to check some of the other items like your CV axle and all that good stuff, or at very minimum, you could take the sway bar loose and then fold this part of it over a lot more. Well, I guess I could have tied that, got it out of my way. Probably would have worked. Not that big of a deal to me. Didn't take that long to do the job in the first place, so not going to cry about it. Couldn't quite get the rear on that bracket to settle in for me, so had to persuade it a little bit. We can go ahead and tighten those back up as well. As I mentioned earlier, that is a 17 mil. One more in the back. Don't know exactly if I am on the wrong or right bolt. So I still have to get the rear end. The front is pretty much wherever it's going to fit, that's where it's going to have to sit. I still got to place the rear, and that's also not that difficult to do. We have to play that a little bit to get it to line up where we want it to line up. Now I realize that a lot of you guys are not going to have a jack like this. You have to do it with the regular old jack. Got to be careful not to knock your vehicle off. Where in the blazes is my spot bar? Happens a lot. Can't ever find one I'm looking for. So, I don't know. Can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah, I guess you can see what I'm doing. Spot bar, let that be your friend. In this case here, I don't know where my spot bar is. So, I'm just using a long old punch. Just insert it a little bit into your bushing. See if you can find an opening there. If you want to do it that way. Like I said, it's easier to put the bolt in from the bottom for sure. If I can, I'm going to try to put it in like that. I would rather have it like that. Like I said, it is personal preference. Reason I do it that way, because gravity dictates that the bolt's not going to fall out when it's facing downward. Careful with this, don't pry on it too much. You ruin a perfectly good part, or take a chance of ruining a perfectly good part. You know, you don't want to get too aggressive with the rubber. Yeah, just got to just play with it a little bit, you know, and make sure you're getting in. Got to come out just a hair. What?
Can Jordan spend the night? Can Jordan spend the night?
I don't care. Say hi, YouTube. You on YouTube?
Oh. Hi, y'all. Hello.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
So, anyway, so much for that. Now, use a little bit of caution here. Don't get carried away with that. If you're going to use the impact, I'm assuming, just don't get carried away with it. You'll help this out a little bit because you'll rip the threads out. That way you help it out a little bit, straighten it up. That way it's not going to rip the threads right out of it. Of course, now what remains is the castle knot. Got to get it lined up and go find us a key. Put key back in it. We could go ahead and do the brakes, which I'm not going to film that part of it. In a nutshell, that's how you can get them done. The other side, best of my recollection, it is, I have to look, I have to take a peek. Yeah, on the other side, it's going to be a little bit easier. It actually, you can actually undo the motor mount, where on this side here, the reason we can't do it is because it's part of the transmission. You can't undo it. You have to take the whole transmission apart in order to get that part to let loose. But on the other side, I'm about 80% sure that it's relatively easy to go ahead and unbolt the entire motor mount, and that way everything is out of the way. Won't take nowhere near as long. This is the bad side right here. I'm not much on the on this design, but that's neither here nor there. That's not my problem, or well, it's kind of sort of is my problem, but it's not my problem, if you get what I mean. Got the Loctite on the two inner bolts right there. We don't need Loctite on that one. That's pretty tight, so good on that. Yeah, guys, I'm going to end the video right here. Everything is good to go on this side here. I didn't forget anything. I did take the piece of plastic off, put that back on, but that's kind of a no-brainer. I want to go ahead and work on these brakes here, and I don't know. Maybe I'll turn the camera back on, probably not. Matter of fact, probably just go ahead and edit the video and post her on up. Already really taking longer than what I wanted to, but anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We appreciate it. So, and coming up. Well, not coming up, but sometime in the near future, hopefully, we can do a little bit of, make sure that's in the shot. We can do a little bit of testing on the stubby Milwaukee. This is a 3/8 drive. I wanted to try that out. Got the adjustment on top, you know, speed adjustment. So, actually, the batteries I ordered for it, they're not here yet, but I've tried it out even with the little batteries, works just fine. So, hopefully, like I said, we can do a little bit of reviewing. So, again, thanks guys. Like, subscribe. Till next time.